Over the last month, Mac users have received several quality of life improvements when it comes to AI, either it being Apple's own Apple Intelligence, updates to ChatGPT, or the official releases of the Perplexity or Claude native Mac apps. In this video, I'm going to briefly go over each one and tell you how I use it and what I think about them. Let's start off with Apple Intelligence, which was finally released to M Series Macs, M Series iPads, and iPhone 15 Pros and up. And to be completely honest, Apple Intelligence isn't all it was led up to be, at least not yet. It's my least used AI tool to this day. Let's briefly just look at it really quickly and we'll look at the script I'm reading right now. There are writing tools built into everywhere you type. So I can just select this line, press this button, and we have all the writing tools. I can proofread, rewrite, change to friendly, professional, concise. I prefer being able to tell ChatGPT exactly what I want, and that's just not the case here. You just kind of have to go with what Apple gives you. I don't find it that useful when it comes to writing emails or even notes, but maybe it'll get better soon. The next thing we have are notification summaries. So in our notification summaries, we see here that Little Snitch told me multiple connection attempts by Brave Browser and others in silent mode. And it breaks it down. I also find it sometimes confusing because I have to go into my notifications to understand what really happened. But that's notification summaries. And to be honest, the Apple Intelligence feature I use the most is in the Photos app when I could clean up or remove something from a photo. Okay, so we're in Edit in Photos. If I want to clean it up and I want to remove this paraglider, I just go like this and it's gone. If I want to remove the sun, kind of. So it's a cool feature. I actually use this the most. I think it's really great. Apple Intelligence only started rolling out a few weeks ago, and it's only the first iteration, and it's going to continue to roll out with the subsequent iOS and macOS updates. I'm looking most forward to an improved Siri and personalized context. Until then, there's no point in really mentioning much more. On to ChatGPT. In the past few weeks, ChatGPT has released many new features, including advanced voice mode, including web search, including Canvas, which is a competition to Claude's Artifacts feature. They released features within their Mac app, like the ability to search within chats, much better than before. They've released many things. This is the ChatGPT Mac app. As you see here, it has the search feature enabled. You can turn it on, turn it off. So if you click a new chat, you can choose if you want to use GPT 4.0, O1 Preview, O1 Mini. You can also choose 4.0 Mini and ChatGPT 4. What you'll notice is missing here in their Mac app is the ability to use ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas. And this is a cool feature, but it's not available in the Mac app. So to use it, you have to go into ChatGPT on the web. And just to look at that really quickly, okay, so now we're on ChatGPT on the web, and to get the Canvas feature, you choose up here, and now you see ChatGPT 4.0 with Canvas. So that's not even available in the Mac app. Now, if we go back to the Mac app, we also have voice dictation, so we could dictate our prompts and then it will answer in a chat interface, or we could use advanced voice mode. And one other feature that ChatGPT just added, which is really cool, is the ability to work with apps. And the apps that it could work with right now, if I'm not mistaken, are text-based apps like VS Code, TextEdit, Terminal, and Xcode. And this is kind of an answer or the beginning of an answer to compete with Cursor or other coding assistants. Until now, to code with ChatGPT, what you pretty much have to do is copy and paste your prompt or your context to ChatGPT. It gives you an output, you copy it, paste it back into your coding editor like VS Code, Xcode, whatever. What this new feature does, it allows ChatGPT on your Mac to look at these text editing tools like code editors, get the context, and give you answers. So it kind of saves you a step. What I haven't seen yet is the ability for it to actually take action. So it kind of just looks at your screen or looks at the context, it looks at the window open on whatever app you give it access to, and it gives you an output. So you still have to copy and paste the answer back from ChatGPT to your code editor. And that's only been my experience so far. Maybe I'm using it wrong, but I think it's still a step in the right direction. And once they are able to integrate it more with these text editors, it'll be a more cohesive experience. But for now, it's a great first step of this really cool feature. Overall, I find myself using the ChatGPT app on Mac a lot. It's getting new features all the time. It's a bit buggy and it doesn't have all the new features, but it's always improving and it's really cool. And I'm really excited about this new work with other apps in ChatGPT. I think this is the beginning of being able to control your computer with ChatGPT, so it's great. Moving on to the Claude app. So Claude finally released a native macOS app. And I use Claude a lot. I often find myself preferring Claude over ChatGPT. I find that Claude outperforms ChatGPT both on coding and improving writing. But it doesn't have all the features that ChatGPT has. It doesn't have web search. It doesn't have voice chat. I really love Claude projects, and I also really love Claude artifacts. And even though ChatGPT released the Canvas feature, which isn't available on its Mac app, Artifacts is available on Claude's Mac app. So let's just look at Claude Artifacts. And so you see here on the side, artifacts are opening up. By the way, I do like the way Canvas allows you to edit within Canvas. Claude doesn't allow that yet, but yeah. I have to say that the Claude app functions almost identically to its web app. I wouldn't even be surprised if this is just a web app wrapped in a macOS wrapper. I find myself using the Claude app all the time. I don't see a need to go back to the Claude web interface. Everything I have there, I have here. Lastly, Perplexity, my most used AI app. And if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I've completely replaced Google with Perplexity. And I looked into it. I use it on a slow day at least 30 times per day. So Perplexity also recently released a Mac app. Until now, I was using Perplexity in the web. First of all, you'll see I'm on Pro, and it has a really great user interface. You're able to change the focus, which is pretty standard for Perplexity. You're able to attach pictures, documents, multimodal, because remember, Perplexity uses different models like ChatGPT or Claude, and they even have their own model as like a backbone for its search. Perplexity also has a voice search, which is really cool. It's not as good as ChatGPT's advanced voice search, but I actually use it more often than ChatGPT because it's able to look at the internet. And from what I understand with ChatGPT advanced voice mode, it's not able to look at the internet with real time, whereas Perplexity is. So I find myself using Perplexity voice mode a lot. You're also, of course, able to upload screenshots. But I want to say that even though Perplexity has all these shortcuts, and it's really cool to have a native Mac app, there's a bunch of bugs. I just want to show you this bug that's really annoying, and it'll help you understand why I still use Perplexity in the web. So we're starting our prompt, right? What's the capital of Thailand? And you know what to do. But let's say I just want to add a word between what's and the. So I'm going to put my cursor here, and let's just type for sure. For sure. I don't know if you saw that, but it's this really annoying bug where the cursor just goes back to the end of the prompt. So I got the fur in there and the sure moved back there. That's a really annoying bug. It's actually really messes with my productivity. So I find myself going back to the browser version of Perplexity. But that's not the only reason why. I mentioned before that Perplexity uses other models like ChatGPT or Claude. They even have their own model, but you can't really modify that here. So if you go into the settings, you can actually choose the model you want, but you have to change it in the settings each time. But on the web, I use Perplexity with this extension called Complexity. And Complexity gives you all these extra features within Perplexity. So it's a Chrome extension. I found it on Reddit and it's really great. It extends the functionality of Perplexity. First of all, before I even start chatting, I could choose which model I'm going to use. I don't have to go to the settings every time I change it. I could switch between Claude 3.5 Sonnet, I could change to 1 Mini, I could change to their own Perplexity models, like even at Grok 2. I like being able to choose the model from the prompt. I don't want to go to settings every time. Another thing I like is when I ask a follow-up question, it lists out all my questions, so I could switch between every question, every prompt I go to without having to scroll up and down and find it. And you can imagine the longer your chats get, the more useful this becomes. And I'll drop a link to the Complexity extension in the description below. Wrapping things up, as an Apple fan and an AI enthusiast, we got a lot of new things to play with this month. Not everything is perfect, there are bugs everywhere, but it's a huge step in the right direction. I prefer Perplexity on the web, but when it comes to ChatGPT, it depends what I'm trying to do. Because if I want to use advanced voice mode, I'm going to use it on Mac. If I want to use the work within apps, I'm going to use the Mac version. But if I want to use ChatGPT with Canvas, I'm going to go to the web version. So I fluctuate between how I use ChatGPT. I'm looking most forward to the improvements to Apple Intelligence. I'm hoping that it will live up to all the hype. And I do believe that Apple does have the ability and the power to outshine all the AI competitors. They have the hardware, they have the software, they have all our data. They can really do this. And they don't have to outshine them. They just have to integrate them. If we can integrate Claude or ChatGPT or Perplexity into our Apple experience, it would be so powerful. And I think that's the direction we're going into. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please like and subscribe. If you have any feedback on another take or any questions, drop in the comments below. Thank you for watching and have a great day.